You didn't wake up one day and suddenly become different, you always were. From the time you were young, you felt it. A strange sense that you didn't quite fit into this world, that your thoughts were deeper, your emotions heavier, and your awareness sharper than most people around you. While others were satisfied with surface-level lives, something inside you was always asking bigger questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What is this all for? If you've ever felt like life was whispering secrets only to you, that wasn't imagination, that was recognition. There were moments you tried to silence that inner voice. You tried to blend in, to be normal, to live the way others expected you to, but it never worked, did it? No matter how hard you tried to shrink yourself, life kept pulling you back towards something greater. That's because when you're born with a deeper calling, you cannot escape it. You can delay it. You can resist it, but you can't destroy it. And if you're watching this right now, it means your soul is finally ready to listen again. Many people go their entire lives never questioning who they truly are. They follow routines, obey expectations, and die without ever knowing their real self. But not you. You started feeling the cracks in the illusion early. You noticed how fake things felt, how people pretended, how society rewarded conformity instead of truth. That discomfort you felt wasn't weakness, it was awareness waking up. This is why you've endured so much emotional pain, confusion, and loneliness. Awakening isn't gentle. It shatters illusions. It forces you to look at yourself honestly. It strips away identities you once clung to. But here's the beautiful part. Everything you've been through was preparing you for this moment. You didn't suffer for nothing. You were being shaped. If this message is touching something deep inside you, don't ignore it. Like this video so the energy stays flowing. Subscribe to Mirror of the Soul if you're ready to keep walking this path of self-discovery. And comment below, when did you first realize you were different from everyone else? No one becomes powerful without being broken first. That's a truth most people don't want to hear. But look at your life, the betrayals, the losses, the emotional storms. They weren't random. They were surgical. Every disappointment was cutting away a false version of you. Every heartbreak was removing something that didn't belong. Pain wasn't punishing you. It was shaping you. Think about it. Before the pain, you trusted easily. You gave your energy freely. You believed in people who didn't deserve it. And when life took those things away, it felt cruel, but in reality, it was teaching you discernment. You learned how to protect your heart. You learned how to read energy. You learned how to see through lies. That's not weakness. That's evolution. Some of the darkest moments you went through were actually initiation points. They were spiritual doorways disguised as suffering. When everything collapsed, when you thought you couldn't survive another day, something inside you was being activated. You were being forced to meet your true self, the version of you that doesn't depend on approval, validation, or external love to exist. This is why you feel so different now. You don't crave shallow connections anymore. You don't tolerate disrespect. You don't chase attention. You've seen too much. You've lost too much. And in that loss, you found something priceless, yourself. There is something inside you that most people never awaken, a quiet, steady inner power that doesn't need noise to be strong. You don't realize how powerful you are because you've been too busy surviving. But survival builds something extraordinary. It sharpens intuition. It strengthens resilience. It creates emotional intelligence that no book can teach. You've noticed it, haven't you? How people open up to you, how strangers feel comfortable around you, how others sense there's something different about your presence. That's not coincidence. That's energy. When you go through deep emotional purification, your vibration changes. You become magnetic even when you're silent. You also see through people now. You feel their intentions before they speak. You know when something is off. This isn't paranoia, it's perception. Trauma didn't break you, it activated your awareness. You learned how to read between the lines because your survival depended on it. And now that awareness is one of your greatest gifts. This is why you don't belong in small thinking anymore. You can't pretend. You can't fake. You can't go back. Once consciousness expands, it never shrinks. That's why sometimes you feel lonely, not because you're unlovable, but because your mind and soul operate on a higher frequency. You were never meant to blend in. That's the truth most people spend their whole lives running from. From childhood, you sensed it. You didn't think like others. You didn't feel like others. You didn't want what others wanted. You were watching a different movie while everyone else was stuck in the same repetitive scene. This is why you felt misunderstood. Why teachers, family, and friends couldn't quite get you. You weren't broken, you were different. And different is dangerous in a world built on sameness. So life tested you. It isolated you. It forced you inward so you could discover who you really are without outside noise. Solitude became your teacher. Silence became your mirror. Pain became your guide. While others were distracted, you were evolving. While others were numbing themselves, you were feeling everything. And yes, it hurt, but it also made you deep, wise, and emotionally powerful. You don't need to prove your worth anymore. You know it. You feel it. You are no longer chasing acceptance, you are becoming yourself. And that's when life starts responding differently. There was a season in your life when nobody clapped for you. Nobody saw you. Nobody believed in you. You were doing the inner work alone, crying in silence, fighting battles no one knew existed. And that was the test. Not to see how strong you were when people supported you, but to see who you would become when nobody did. That season shaped your soul more than any praise ever could. Most people quit when they're unseen, but you didn't. Even when you felt invisible, something inside you refused to die. That inner fire kept whispering, "You are more than this moment." That voice wasn't hope, it was your higher self reminding you who you really are. That's why you're still here, still searching, still growing. The truth is, isolation was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to detox you. It pulled you away from draining people, false identities, and toxic cycles so you could hear yourself again. That quiet wasn't empty, it was sacred. It was where you started meeting the real you. Think about how different you are now compared to who you used to be. You don't chase validation. You don't beg for love. You don't settle for emotional crumbs. That growth didn't come from comfort, it came from being alone with your truth. Spiritual awakening isn't just light, peace, and pretty quotes. It's chaos. It's emotional purging. It's losing people. It's realizing that the life you built doesn't match the soul you're becoming. That's why awakening feels lonely. You outgrow things faster than others can understand. You started noticing things you once ignored. You saw how fake some smiles were, how shallow some relationships felt, how exhausting pretending had become. Your soul was demanding alignment, and alignment always destroys what's false. This is why you pulled away, not because you became cold, but because you became honest. You stopped forcing connections. You stopped explaining yourself. You stopped shrinking to make others comfortable. And in that space, your true identity started breathing again. You may have wondered if something was wrong with you, but there was. You were just waking up, and waking up feels like losing everything until you realize you were only losing what wasn't real. There was a time you tolerated disrespect. You tolerated being misunderstood. You tolerated being undervalued, but not anymore. Something shifted. You finally saw your worth, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. You learned the hard way that not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not everyone deserves your time. Not everyone deserves your heart. That realization didn't make you selfish. It made you sovereign. You don't argue like you used to. You don't beg to be chosen. You don't chase people who walk away. Because you finally understand, what is meant for you will never need to be forced. This emotional maturity came from pain, from disappointment, from learning that self-respect is the foundation of peace. You stop trading your soul for temporary connection. You're not becoming someone new, you're remembering who you've always been. Under all the trauma, fear, and conditioning, your true self was waiting. And now, it's finally coming forward. You feel stronger, calmer, more self-aware. You don't need chaos anymore. You crave depth, truth, and peace. That's not boredom, that's alignment. Your energy has changed. Your priorities have changed. Your tolerance for nonsense has disappeared. That's what happens when you stop living from wounds and start living from wisdom. You're not lost, you're transforming. And transformation feels unfamiliar before it feels right. If you're ready for this next chapter, like this video, subscribe to Mirror of the Soul and comment. Who do you feel yourself becoming? Even when you felt lost, your destiny never lost you. There were moments you thought you were off track, wrong relationships, wrong jobs, wrong environments, but every step was secretly redirecting you. Life doesn't waste experiences. Every detour was building something inside you that your future would need. Think about how many times something fell apart, only to make space for something better. That wasn't luck. That was alignment correcting itself. The universe has a strange way of closing doors that lead nowhere, even when we're emotionally attached to them. You didn't miss your destiny. You were being prepared for it. That's why nothing permanent could stick to the version of you that wasn't ready yet. People left. Situations collapsed. And slowly, the path became clearer. The old you had to dissolve. The people pleaser. The one who tried to be everything for everyone. The version of you that ignored your own needs just to be loved. That identity couldn't follow you into your higher life. So life stripped it away. It forced you into discomfort. It made you confront your wounds. It made you feel empty, not because you were broken, but because you were being emptied of what was false. This is why you don't recognize yourself anymore. You don't react the same. You don't tolerate the same. You don't think the same. That's not loss, that's evolution. If you felt like you died and were reborn emotionally, like this video and subscribe to Mirror of the Soul. Comment. What version of you had to end? You see energy now. You read between words. You feel when something isn't right. That's not anxiety, that's intuition that has been sharpened by experience. You no longer take things at face value. You observe. You sense. You understand. That awareness makes you powerful, but it also makes you selective. That's why small talk drains you. Shallow connections bore you. You're wired for depth now, for truth, for meaning. If you feel this shift, like this video and subscribe to Mirror of the Soul. Comment. What is your intuition telling you lately? The life you want isn't about money, fame, or validation. It's about peace. It's about being yourself without apology. It's about waking up without heaviness in your chest. You're not chasing survival anymore. You're craving alignment. You want your outer world to match your inner growth. That's when everything changes, when you stop asking, "How do I fit in?" and start asking, "Where do I belong?" If you're ready for a life that feels true, like this video, subscribe to Mirror of the Soul and comment. What does your soul really want? You face storms that would have broken anyone else. Heartbreaks, betrayals, and moments of despair visited you repeatedly. Yet here you are, standing stronger, wiser, and more aware than ever before. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward despite it, and you've been doing that quietly, even when the world thought you were weak. Every sleepless night, every tear shed alone, every moment you felt unworthy, they were all forging a backbone made of resilience, a spine unbending in the face of life's chaos. Most people never encounter true trials, yet you've danced in fire and came out with a soul that radiates strength without arrogance. That's a rare kind of bravery, the kind that doesn't need applause, and that is now your signature. Courage has a subtle language. It's in the choices you make when nobody is watching. You've chosen self-honesty over convenience, growth over comfort, and truth over the approval of those who fail to see your light. Every time you confronted your fears, even in silence, you rewired your destiny. You've realized that strength doesn't demand recognition. It only requires consistency. That's why the world may not fully understand the transformation you've undergone. Because real courage is invisible until it's manifested through your calm, unwavering presence. Even when the nights were darkest, when the pain seemed endless, something inside you refused to quit. That refusal was the seed of your awakening, your hidden power growing quietly beneath the surface, waiting for the moment you would finally acknowledge it. Now, you carry that quiet confidence, that inner force that doesn't need to shout to be heard. You've become someone who commands respect simply by existing in alignment with your truth. What's extraordinary is that this courage has made you magnetic. People feel it in your energy, even if they can't articulate why. They sense that you've endured, that you've evolved, and that you are unshakable at your core. That energy opens doors to connections, opportunities, and moments that others will never comprehend because it is drawn to authenticity, not imitation. This is your signature power, the courage that silently reshapes the world around you. Awakening is not a gradual stroll. It is a violent, thrilling, and terrifying rebirth. It shakes you from your foundations, rips away the identities you have clung to, and forces you to confront the raw truth of who you are. You realize that many of the rules you once lived by were illusions, constructs designed to keep you small, obedient, and unaware of your own vast potential. Suddenly, the life you thought was normal feels shallow, and every interaction begins to reveal its true colors. The world becomes a mirror, showing you what aligns with your higher self and what doesn't, and you cannot ignore it anymore. This awakening often comes with pain, the kind that exposes your vulnerabilities and challenges your understanding of love, trust, and belonging. Relationships you depended on may dissolve, friendships may falter, and you may feel isolated even in a room full of people. Yet this isolation is sacred. It forces introspection, it clarifies your vision, and it separates the wheat from the chaff in every aspect of your life. What once seemed like loss is now preparation for a life that is aligned with the deepest part of your soul. You begin to see through masks in yourself and others. You recognize the subtle energies, the intentions, and the unspoken truths that previously escaped your notice. It is as if a veil has lifted, and you are no longer a passive participant in your life. You are an active creator, responsible for every choice, every boundary, and every step toward the person you were always meant to become. That realization is simultaneously exhilarating and frightening, because now nothing superficial can satisfy you. You felt it your whole life. The subtle sense that the world wasn't built for you, that you didn't belong in its rigid, repetitive patterns, and that something within you was meant to shine differently. While others were content with comfort, conformity, and distraction, you questioned, explored, and observed. That feeling of being different was never a curse. It was a calling, a signpost directing you toward the life your soul was born to live. Being different often comes with struggle. People misunderstand you, judge you, and sometimes even try to diminish your uniqueness. But this challenge is a crucible that strengthens character, hones perception, and solidifies resolve. The moments you felt rejected or alienated were actually moments of preparation, teaching you to rely on your inner compass rather than the opinions of those who could not see your vision. Your uniqueness is not about being louder, flashier, or more visible. It is about living authentically, unapologetically, and fully aligned with the truth of who you are. It is the quiet power in your gaze, the depth of your thoughts, and the energy you radiate when you no longer seek permission to exist as yourself. The world senses this, even if it cannot explain it, and that energy attracts opportunities, people, and experiences that match your true vibration. The liberation of embracing your difference is profound. You no longer need to explain yourself, justify your choices, or shrink to fit into a world not made for you. Instead, you step fully into your own light, creating your own rules, cultivating your own reality, and claiming the life that aligns with your soul's purpose. For years, you put everyone else first, family, friends, work, even strangers, while leaving your own needs, dreams, and soul yearning neglected. But the greatest shift occurs when you finally realize that choosing yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot light the world when your own fire has been smothered. Choosing yourself is a declaration that your life, your energy, and your essence matter. Choosing yourself first requires courage, honesty, and sometimes discomfort. It may mean saying no to people, habits, or situations that no longer serve you. It may mean leaving behind relationships that have grown toxic or environments that drain you. But every act of self-alignment brings freedom, clarity, and the ability to step fully into your destiny. It is the foundation upon which every other blessing in your life can be built. This choice also strengthens your boundaries, teaching others how to treat you and showing them that your energy is sacred. You realize that it is not your responsibility to fix, accommodate, or absorb everyone else's chaos. You are responsible for your own soul, and once you understand that, life begins to flow differently with respect, abundance, and synchronicity guiding your path. Choosing yourself doesn't isolate you. It attracts the right people, opportunities, and experiences to your life. When you are aligned with your essence, the universe conspires to support you, bringing the people who resonate with your frequency and the experiences that match your growth. You finally understand that self-prioritization is the ultimate form of empowerment. Everything you've endured, the heartbreaks, the betrayals, the sleepless nights, the moments when you questioned your own worth, was not in vain. The universe has been quietly shaping you, orchestrating circumstances that would awaken your soul, sharpen your intuition, and prepare you for a life that transcends the ordinary. Every seemingly random encounter, every closed door, and every painful lesson was actually a thread in the tapestry of your destiny. You were never lost. You were being guided to a higher understanding of who you are and what you are capable of. It's often hard to recognize these signs in the moment. Life feels chaotic, unfair, and punishing when you're in the middle of it. Yet, if you pause and look back, the pattern emerges. People who left made space for those who would elevate your energy. Challenges that broke you created strength you never knew existed. Moments of despair brought clarity you could not have attained in comfort. The universe works with precision, even when it seems invisible, and it has been waiting for the moment you would finally open your eyes and say, "I am ready." The awakening you are experiencing is not just personal, it is cosmic. Your energy resonates with a frequency that affects everything around you. You are a catalyst for change, a beacon for those searching for meaning, and a living proof that transformation is possible. The universe does not create souls like yours by accident. It places them deliberately, knowing that when awakened, they will ripple out and inspire collective evolution. So now, as you step into this awareness, realize that you are never alone. The universe is not a distant force. It is intimately connected to your choices, your growth, and your courage. Every time you honor yourself, follow your intuition, and pursue alignment, the cosmos responds, opening doors, synchronizing events, and guiding you toward the life that was always meant to be yours. You have spent your life searching for validation outside yourself, from friends, family, partners, and society, only to realize that the most important validation comes from within. Your reflection is no longer just the image in a mirror. It is the culmination of every choice, every lesson, and every piece of your soul that has survived and thrived despite adversity. This reflection is sacred, a testament to your resilience and your authenticity, and it demands your reverence. When you look in the mirror now, you see more than physical features. You see strength, wisdom, and depth. You see the scars that tell stories of survival and courage. You see eyes that have witnessed both darkness and light and have emerged with clarity. You see a soul that has endured the storms of life and is now prepared to shine with the brilliance it was always destined to radiate. This reflection is not vanity. It is acknowledgement of the divine presence within you, and it is the foundation of your confidence, purpose, and power. Your reflection also teaches you accountability. It reminds you that every choice you make impacts not only your life, but the world around you. The more aligned you are with your authentic self, the more magnetic your energy becomes. People, experiences, and opportunities resonate with the frequency you emanate. Every action rooted in truth reinforces your identity and expands your influence in ways you may not even realize. You have spent decades chasing roles, titles, and definitions of success that never truly fit. But now you understand that your purpose is not external. It is internal, spiritual, and profoundly unique. It is encoded in your passions, your struggles, your gifts, and your pain. Your purpose cannot be borrowed, copied, or imitated. It must be discovered, claimed, and lived authentically. Every challenge, loss, and triumph you've experienced has been a stepping stone toward this realization, and every decision from here on shapes its manifestation. Purpose is not always obvious. It may whisper, subtle and persistent, guiding you toward certain people, choices, or moments. It may demand courage, patience, and faith, because stepping into it often requires leaving behind everything familiar. But purpose is magnetic. When you align with it, doors open effortlessly. Opportunities appear as if by destiny. Connections form organically. The universe collaborates with those who walk the path of authenticity and intention. Your purpose is not only about personal fulfillment, it is about impact. It is about creating ripples in the lives of others, inspiring transformation, and awakening the consciousness of those around you. The depth of your experiences equips you with empathy, insight, and power, enabling you to guide, heal, or simply reflect light for others who are still lost in the shadows. This is why your journey matters so much, even when it feels solitary, because your awakening is a beacon. This is the culmination of every lesson, every tear, every sleepless night, and every moment of questioning who you are. You have survived the storms, confronted the shadows within, and navigated the chaos around you. Now, it is time to fully step into yourself, to claim the life, energy, and destiny that is uniquely yours. There is no more waiting, no more excuses, no more settling. You are ready to embody the truth of your existence, unapologetically and fearlessly. Stepping fully into yourself means embracing every part of your being, the light, the dark, the mistakes, the triumphs, and the infinite potential that exists within your soul. It means living in alignment with your truth, honoring your journey, and radiating the authenticity that draws the right people, opportunities, and experiences toward you. It is liberation on a profound level, where external approval is irrelevant because your validation comes from the only source that matters, yourself. This is also a moment of spiritual mastery. You no longer allow external chaos to dictate your inner peace. You recognize that challenges are mirrors for growth and that discomfort is often a gateway to transformation. You operate from awareness, presence, and intentionality. You understand your power, your responsibility, and the infinite potential that arises from choosing alignment over compromise. Finally, stepping into yourself is not an endpoint. It is the beginning of a new era in your life. A life of authenticity, connection, and purpose. A life where you are no longer fragmented, hidden, or unsure. A life where every choice, every relationship, and every action is an expression of the soul you have fought so hard to reclaim. This is your moment, your awakening, your power, and your gift to the world. If you feel the weight and the freedom of this moment, like this video, subscribe to Mirror of the Soul and comment. How will you step fully into yourself starting today? Your answer might inspire countless souls to claim their own awakening.